Hi, and welcome to All Things Divine with yours truly, me, Erica Sloan. Wow, we are at our fourth and final week talking about the solar plexus. And if you have been with us from the beginning, then you know that I wanted to focus on the solar plexus for the month of July because with so many clients that I've worked with, that was the main chakra that we had to do some serious work with and get to the root cause of things. So I wanted to just spread the word because working with the solar plexus is at an all-time high, and I felt that other people may be feeling this way. Maybe it's some type of energy in the air, but I wanted to be a channel to help you get to the root cause of any solar plexus blockage that you may have. So from the beginning, we spoke about identity, then we spoke about authenticity, and last week we spoke about control and the solar plexus and how an overactive solar plexus chakra can maybe make you feel the need to control others. And of course, I shared a few confessions about how I used to be controlling, and I had to do some serious solar plexus work. Now, on our fourth and final week, we are going to talk about embarrassment and shame and the solar plexus. All Things Divine has partnered with Seek Jesus. They are a company that carries hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts, hats, and accessories. And their mission is to spread the gospel of Christ throughout the world while supporting those on the mission field. Their brand strives to provide high-quality Christian apparel for believers and followers of Christ. Let your clothing start a conversation. Also, a portion of all sales are donated towards several mission fields dedicated to serve and spread the gospel around the world. So go ahead and check their website out at seekjesus.co. And while you're at it, take an extra 15% off with our code DivineSly15. See you on the website. The solar plexus chakra allows you to tap into your power and build your inner strength to achieve any goals or dreams that you may have. It raises your confidence and your self-belief, filling you with self-assurance, determination, and motivation. Now, essentially, a healthy solar plexus chakra allows you to take action without any fear or doubt. But what if you have embarrassment? Now, if your solar plexus is blocked, we've discussed in the past episodes that you may struggle with your identity, authenticity, you may have control. There's a lot of layers of things that you may show on the outside that would let me know that there may be a concern with the solar plexus. But you also may struggle to believe in yourself and find confidence and courage to do things. And that's because of a blocked third chakra, because it lowers your self-image and it weakens your will. So in addition, a blocked solar plexus, it can result in a lack of courage and heightened fear. Now, because the solar plexus is strongly related to self-image, adverse events, and experiences that may dent your confidence, such as failures, that can also block this energy center. In addition, verbal abuse, bullying, and judgments from others also lower your self-confidence too, potentially shutting down this essential chakra. But what if you have overcome all of that, right? And you've worked through all of those layers, but you have embarrassment and shame? That can make you feel like, okay, wait a minute, let's back up. I must not be healed from something. And that's not entirely true. I would say maybe there's something in there that we can find energetically that needs to come out, that's ready to come from your subconscious to your conscious mind so that it can be dealt with. That's very, very much, that could be what it is. But also, it could be that you're so alert and aware now that you're experiencing this shame and this embarrassment emotion. And you may feel like you have regressed because you're thinking, well, wait a minute, like I've gone through all of these things, I've done the work, and oh my gosh, like I'm so humiliated. And that can make you feel like you have so much more work to do. And it can also make you feel like, okay, maybe I'm affecting my chakra because I'm not done here. So I want to talk about embarrassment and shame with the solar plexus. Once you have gone through the layers and you have really dug deep and you have gotten to the root and done that hard work, why in the hell am I feeling embarrassment and shame? We are going to discuss that today. When I do energy work with my clients, and especially for the month of July, as I've stated before, I have found myself doing a lot of solar plexus work with several clients. And some of them will just, they're just so relieved and so happy that they have been able to get to the root. They're applying new methods to their daily lives, and it's great. But they will get to a point to where they feel embarrassment and shame. And because I've actually gone through this, I can approach it, of course, always in a loving way, but it's with so much understanding. And because I've personally experienced this myself. And what I always say to them is, this is okay that you feel this way. Let's unpack this. And when you do so much work and you evolve energetically on an amazing level, and you just feel so much lighter, and you feel like you've done so much clearing, you have really dealt with some internal concerns, and your mindset, it's different. So, of course, it could cause you to look back on all of those things, all of those layers that you've unpacked, and you're just like, oh my gosh, why? Why did I do that to myself? And so I want to explain that that's more where that feeling is coming from. And I don't want it to be a confusion because, yes, a blocked solar plexus can deal with, a lot of failures, but that's not the case if you feel embarrassment and shame after you have done all of this energy work and cleaning, cleansing, healing. You've done all of that. So I don't want it to be a confusion. And that's the point that I'll get to with my clients, to where they feel like, well, wait, there's some failure going on. Like maybe I haven't completely healed my solar plexus. Yes, you have. And that's what I tell them. Yes, you have. This is different. This is because your mind is on a heightened level and you're just looking back at all of those things. And this is the story that I always share. I did serious solar plexus work, and it's something that I continue to do. We as humans should continue our daily lives with self-love, self-help, like everything to show ourselves, our mind, our body, our spirit love. We need to focus on that. So it's an everyday thing that we have to do. Whether you exercise only or just exercise, meditate, you may take sound baths occasionally, you may do yoga. Like, we need to do that. Our bodies need that as humans. So the story that I share is that after I had evolved and I was on an energetic high, and I just felt so amazing and proud of myself for all the work that I've done, for a lot of deep rooted stuff that I unpacked, and just looking at my life and where it was versus where it is now, and just feeling so blessed. I all of a sudden started feeling embarrassment and shame. And I remember I was talking to a really, really great friend of mine. I've been friends with this person, well, with several people. We've been friends since kindergarten. And I said to them, I said, I'm so embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm so embarrassed. And I was so emotional about it. Just thinking, for example, just all the way down to how I used to eat versus how I eat now, and thinking about how much weight I allowed myself to gain. And now that I'm, older, I'm 40, it's a lot harder to lose that weight. But it made me feel embarrassed that I didn't know this information then, and that I allowed myself to balloon up to, a really large size for me, for my height. I had so many health issues, guys, so many. And I will just say that I was at one point a size 26 and in women's. So, a 26 in women's waist size, and men's, that could be, I don't know, is that like a 50 or 60 in the waist? Now I'm a size 14, working on down to that 12. Okay. That's my goal. Size 12, guys. Wish me luck. But I do get embarrassed that I allowed myself. Now, I'm not talking about weight gain, because if you have like medical conditions, I'm very much aware of that. That there are some medications and just health conditions that you may have that unfortunately causes you to lose weight. This was my choice to not work out, to eat emotionally, because I had a lot of emotional things going on, and food was my comfort. And I allowed myself, this was a choice that I did, to allow myself to go from a 26 to now. If you look at it and you can say, okay, wow, what's going on? She went from this size to this size. Like, I can definitely tell you some deep, amazing healing stories, because that alone reminds me of 600 Pound Life. I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen it, but I have watched it several times. And what Dr. Niles Arden does is he will, you have to go through, it reminds me of my 7-day flow program, but you have to go through eating healthy, because he needs to see, like, where are you at, right? And then he will actually assign you to a psychiatrist, because sometimes, more often than not, it is an emotional relationship, an emotional toxic relationship with food. So that was my situation, and it took a lot of therapy and mental health, and then learning all about energy healing, and just, it took a lot for me to get to where I am now. So am I at the size that I want to be at? No. I honestly, I really just want to be at a size 12 and just have a toned body. So I have a lot of work to do to even get my body toned, but hey, I'm almost at a size 12. So, okay, let me give myself some snaps for that. So I look back at that, and I told, some girlfriends of mine, I'm so embarrassed. And then of certain situations that I've been in certain relationships, you've heard me mention this before. I was like, what? Why? I'm so humiliated. Like, all of this wasted time I felt, right? And all of these weird situations that I was in when I knew better. And that was one of the things that I said to them. Yes, I've unpacked all this stuff and I'm like floating high and I'm so grateful. And I wake up every morning with gratitude. Even if it's a bad day, I will still try to find gratitude. But why am I so embarrassed? And then I cried. I cried for 30 days. And there's actually an article on divineslide.com. It is called Tomato Soup Breakdown, and it talks about how I cried for 30 days. And it all has to do with, the solar plexus and me being at the stage of feeling embarrassment and shame. Shame for what I allowed in my life. Shame and embarrassment for, again, what I allowed in my life, how I let people treat me, and how I reacted in certain situations that are completely out of character. I did talk about that in the last episode of Control. So being at this stage, I realized that this does not mean that my solar plexus is still blocked. This means that I'm at a different thinking level of what I will allow in my space. And seeing what I did allow, it is embarrassing. You will maybe feel that emotion, but you have to be able to determine, distinguish between the two feelings that, wow, okay, yes, this was an embarrassing time. I do feel a little ashamed. But look how far I have come. Look at all of this self-work that I have done. Look at just the amazing atmosphere that I have around me now. I am no longer in that mind state. Look where I am now. So you have to be able to distinguish between the two. And that may take a few conversations. It may take 30 days. And when I say that I cried for 30 days, I don't mean that I was just crying all day. I meant that I found myself tearing up, for maybe 1 or 2 minutes out of each day until I got to maybe the 30th day. Then it was me crying over tomato soup. And that cry extended for hours. And so then I knew at the end of towards the end of that day, let me separate myself from everyone around me right now. And I need to allow myself that space to get out how I'm feeling, because I keep feeling ashamed. I keep feeling embarrassed. I can't believe that I put myself in the situations. I knew better. I can't believe I made those choices. Why did you do this, Erica? Why? And I'm talking about being embarrassed all the way down to not just food and being at a certain weight and certain relationships, but down to even the thought of a particular, ex-partner, touching me. It made me sick to the stomach, because I thought, how low of self-esteem did I have to allow that? And so, yes, you will, and you may not feel this, but if you do, the key is to distinguish between the emotions of what's going on from the past and all the work that you've done versus to where you are now. And that is what it boils down to, is look how far you have come. Yes, you'll feel this way, but you are not that way anymore, because you've done so much work and you're so amazing. And so you can look back at that time as a complete learning lesson, because that's what it is. And you have to get to a state to where you are grateful for those learning lessons, and you have love. You have love in your heart for your journey. You have love in your heart for your journey that you were on. And you have love in your heart for, it doesn't matter who did what to you. Who cares? Look where you are now, and with everything in your heart, just feel complete gratitude and love for how far you have come. And you allow yourself to ground all those emotions, and you ground yourself and center it with the earth and with God. And you just allow all those emotions to just finally just wash through you. And again, when you come out of that meditation or when you wake up the next morning, you move forward. So, with that being said, that is the final stage that I have reached with clients with the solar plexus work that we've done. And it's an okay stage to be at. So allow yourself the time, fill your heart and your soul with gratitude, acknowledge where you were and how far you have come, and you move forward. So that is our final week talking about the solar plexus for all of July. Next, we are going to talk about the root chakra. Now, that is the first chakra. And as we continue on with this and we do some root chakra work, we will do the sacral chakra. I want to focus on the first three chakras because a lot of people don't ground those. They're not very solid in those. And those are the main chakras that we really need to be grounded in. So we are going to do work, and then after we are done with the root and sacral chakra, I have the best surprise for everyone. We will be joined with one of my dearest friends, and it is going to be a video that we do on YouTube where we talk about a great topic that everyone should hear. I don't want to give away too much information, but that is going to be the end of the season, is Divine Sly and Friends with one of my dearest friends. So we have some more work to do with the root chakra and the sacral, but I want to thank you so much for doing this work with the solar plexus, and thank you so much for all of the feedback that we have received. So go ahead, leave some feedback on YouTube and on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on other channels as well. We'll link those all in the description of this YouTube audio. So I will see you next week when we start on the root. Have a wonderful, loving, and abundant week, everybody.